My mom said, "It's too chaotic this year. Let's skip you coming." I said, "Okay." Then I saw a video on Facebook. My sister's ex and even the neighbors' teenagers all at the table. My kids cried. So I took a picture of every unwrapped gift, texted, "Returning these today." Within 40 minutes, my dad was at my door. Yelled. I opened. And it's one thing not to be invited. It's another to find out everyone else was. Not just my sister. Not just her ex-boyfriend who used to make my mom cry. Not just the neighbors or the girl next door who once accidentally hit my dad's car with a basketball and wasn't allowed in our driveway for 2 years. No, everyone except me and my kids. That's what hit the hardest. My mom had called it too chaotic this year. She said maybe we'd skip it. Next year, she added, like it was some logistical adjustment. I said okay, and she hung up like she had just rescheduled a dentist appointment. My kids had already drawn birthday cards. My daughter made a paper crown with Queen Grandma written in glitter glue. My son picked out slippers with built-in foot massagers. They were excited. They always are. They love my parents more than they should, considering how little they get back. My parents tolerate them. That's the best word for it. Polite smiles, quick visits, never overnight. They still haven't forgiven me for being a single mom. Even though I didn't leave him, he left me. He lives out of state now, but calls the kids every single night, pays for their health insurance, sends gifts, asks about their day. He doesn't speak to me much, but he never disappears on them. And yet, somehow, in my mom's eyes, that makes me the failure. I thought this year would be different. I'd been planning her birthday gift since March. It was a set of gold jewelry, necklace, bracelet, earrings, $7,800. I skipped everything for it. Coffee shops, clothes, dinners out. I clipped coupons like it was my job. I wore the same boots with a hole in the sole through April, but I didn't touch a single dollar from the kids' fund. They had what they needed. I just figured if I gave her something unforgettable, maybe I'd finally be seen again. The day before her birthday, I didn't hear anything. Then that night, my cousin sent me a video. It was already up on Facebook. My mom was sitting at the head of the table, blowing out candles on her favorite lemon cake. My sister was on one side. Her ex, the one my mom used to say she couldn't stand, was beside her, their baby in a high chair. The neighbors, teenage kids, even a co-worker from Mom's old job, who I haven't seen in 10 years, everyone but us. The table was set with the gold-rimmed plates she only uses when she wants to impress. Her best linens. The flower arrangement I'd sent her that morning was sitting at the far end of the table. I spotted the card still in it, unopened. I didn't cry. I didn't even call her. I waited until the kids went to sleep. And then I took out every single gift we'd wrapped for her. For my dad, for my sister's baby. I unwrapped them. I laid them all out. I took a photo, sent it to the family group chat, texted, "Returning these today." 40 minutes later, my dad was pounding on my door. "Are you out of your mind?" he shouted. I opened the door. He stormed in without waiting, looked at the unwrapped gifts like I'd smashed something holy. He didn't ask about the kids, didn't ask how I found out, didn't apologize, just said, "You don't embarrass the family like this." I said, "You invited the whole neighborhood and left us out." His face didn't change, just shrugged and said, "We needed things to be quiet this year with your sister visiting." Then he walked out. No explanation, no defense, nothing for the grandkids watching from the stairs. The next morning, I drove to the jeweler and gave them back the gold set. I didn't even ask for the full refund, told them to restock it. Something in me shut off that night, and it's not coming back. After I returned the jewelry, I thought maybe that would be the end of it. Maybe they just iced me out like usual, pretend I overreacted, move on like nothing happened. But that's not what happened. It started with silence. No calls, no texts, not even from my sister. And then, 2 days later, My mom posted a photo on Facebook. Her and my sister, arms around each other on the porch, holding coffee mugs like it was some perfect morning in a perfect world. Caption said, "So grateful to have my baby home for a while." A while. That caught my attention. My sister lives on the other side of the country, supposedly has some high-profile job in tech marketing or real estate or consulting. The story changes every time my parents brag about her. She's always in glossy airports or minimalist apartments with candles burning in the background. But in the photo, she was wearing the same hoodie I saw her wear in the birthday video. Hair pulled back, no makeup, tired. I didn't think too much about it until I got a call from Aunt Leia. She never calls unless someone's dying or drunk. She asked if I knew that my sister had been at my parents' house for over a month. Said she saw her at the grocery store a few towns over using WIC vouchers. I didn't say anything. A week later, it got confirmed. My mom let it slip during a call with Laya, who, of course, called me immediately after. Turns out my sister lost her job 6 months ago. Racked up debt, trying to maintain the image. Sold her furniture before she flew home and showed up with 2 suitcases and a very different story. My parents didn't tell anyone. They wanted it to look like she was just visiting. Still golden, still successful, but now she's been living there in the room that used to be mine. They're covering her car insurance, paying her phone bill, pretending like it's temporary. Meanwhile, I was still hearing nothing from them. No apologies, no explanation. That weekend I got a message from my dad. Short said, "Can we talk?" I didn't answer. 3 hours later, another one. This time from my mom. "Your sister's going through something. It's been very hard on all of us. We need to talk." I stared at that message for a long time. Not a word about what they did to my kids. Not a word about the dinner, the gifts, the screaming on my porch. Just a request. I ignored it. 3 days later, my sister texted me. Said she wanted to clear the air. I asked why now. She replied, "They think you might be willing to help." There was not sorry, just desperate. I didn't answer my sister's text right away. I waited 2 days. Let her sit with it. She sent a follow-up, a voice note, which I didn't open. Then, another message. "I didn't know they weren't inviting you." I swear, I didn't believe her. Maybe she didn't know at first, but she definitely knew once the food was being passed around the table and my kids weren't there. She knew when my chair sat empty. Still, I replied, "What is it that they want?" She wrote back, "I think they want you to help me financially." Just like that. No easing into it. No pretending they wanted to fix things. I almost laughed. They wanted money from the daughter they told to stay away. From the daughter whose kids weren't even good enough to sit at the table. I didn't reply. Instead, I texted my mom and said we could talk in person. She replied with, "Oh, thank God. Your dad and I were hoping we could all move past this. She said they'd be over that weekend." I told her I'd cook. When they showed up, my mom brought a pie. My dad brought nothing but his usual self-righteousness. They walked in like nothing happened. Said hi to the kids. My daughter clung to me. My son didn't look up from his tablet. We sat down. I served lunch. We made small talk. Then my mom sighed and said, "You know your sister's situation. She's been having a rough time. It's not her fault the company downsized. We were hoping you could maybe just help her get back on her feet." I nodded, like I was considering it, like I was feeling charitable. Then I said, "Sure, I'll help her find a job." She blinked. "Well, yes, but we meant maybe something more immediate, like rent, groceries, or maybe something to help her get her car back in shape." I smiled. Helping her find a job is immediate. My dad cut in, voice clipped. "She's not used to working that kind of job. She needs something that matches her background." I said, "She can match whatever she's got left." They went quiet for a while. My mom looked around the room like it would give her some leverage. Saw the new couch, the updated kitchen tiles, all paid for with my money, my work, my choices. Then she said it. "If you're going to be like this, We'll just have to get by without your help. I stood up, took her pie, set it gently in the trash. Okay, I said. They left without another word. That night, I emailed a friend who works in staffing. Told her I had a candidate with a college degree and some gaps in employment. Asked if she had anything. Customer service, admin, reception, retail, didn't matter. Just something. My sister started the job 2 weeks later. Entry level, no remote options. I didn't tell my parents I had arranged it. They thought it was luck until the day my mom called and said, "You really aren't going to help us, are you?" I said, "You mean money?" She said, "Anything?" I said, "No." 2 days later, I got a letter. A real mailed letter. They said they were disowning me. That I was cruel. That I had abandoned family when they needed me most. That's when I remembered the Lexus. They really thought I forgot about the car. A year and a half ago, when my dad's old truck finally died, he called me in a panic. Said he needed help. Just short term. My husband and I weren't officially divorced yet, and he was feeling generous that month. He signed off on co-signing a loan so I could buy my dad a decent car. Something reliable. Something that wouldn't break down when my mom wanted to drive to her book club. We bought them a Lexus, barely used. Less than 20,000 miles, one owner. My dad cried when I handed him the keys. My mom told everyone I had finally done something right. They never made a single payment. And now, after everything, they were driving it around like it belonged to them, like I wouldn't remember. So, when the letter came saying I was disowned, I didn't cry. I laughed. Then I called the loan company. Turns out the Lexus was still in my name, fully. I never transferred the title. My dad had never asked. I guess he figured I wouldn't. I didn't tell them right away. I waited until my mom posted a photo of my sister posing next to the car in the driveway like she was about to drive off to brunch. I screenshotted the photo and sent it to my lawyer. 2 weeks later, my parents were served a repossession notice. I arranged it so they got it in front of the neighbors. That part wasn't planned, but it was satisfying. My mom called, first time in weeks. She screamed into the phone, asked how I could do this to them. I said, "You disowned me, the car goes with me." Then I hung up. What I didn't expect was what came next. A week after the car was picked up, my sister showed up at my door. Not angry, not crying, with a suitcase. I asked what she was doing. She said, "I quit the job." I said nothing, and she looked me straight in the eye and said, "I want to stay here with you. I want to start over." I laughed. I told her I had 2 kids and no spare room. She said, "I can sleep on the floor." That's when she told me something I didn't see coming. She was pregnant. And the father, not her ex, not anyone she wanted to name. My mom didn't know. My dad definitely didn't. She said, "They'll throw me out. I know it. I believed her." And for the first time in years, I saw my sister as something other than golden. I saw her scared. And that complicated everything. She stayed on the couch that night. No questions, no promises. I gave her a blanket, a pillow, and a towel. She didn't ask for more. My kids were confused. My daughter whispered, "Why is Auntie sleeping in the living room?" I just said she needed a place to rest. By the 3rd night, she was helping with homework and unloading the dishwasher. Not because I asked. She just did it. She didn't talk much, and when she did, it was mostly small things. Cravings, back pain, regrets. I didn't ask who the father was again. I didn't care. Then the show started. It began with my parents posting old photos of her from better days. Then came the long, self-pitying posts, how they were grieving a daughter who turned away from them and praying for healing in our broken family. They wrote like they were victims of a natural disaster. My mom even said something about how they had nothing left but each other. The best part, she included the Lexus in the list of what they'd lost. They started calling relatives, friends, even people from church, spinning stories about me, how I'd changed, how I was influenced by bitterness. My aunt called and asked why I'd stolen the car. I sent her the title paperwork. Silence after that. But then the doorbell rang. It was my mom. She looked straight through me and said she was here to see her daughter, not me, the real one. My sister was in the kitchen, holding a bowl of cereal. When she heard the voice, she froze. She whispered, "Don't let her in." I didn't. My mom said, "You're making a mistake. This is family." I said, "You disowned me. You can't walk that back now." She left. The next day, my sister got a call. My dad, angry, said she betrayed them, said she was ungrateful, said she needed to come home, that they'd forgive her if she fixed things with me. She hung up and said, "They're not scared I left. They're scared I told you everything." I nodded. Then she said, "I want to keep the baby, but I can't do this alone." I didn't answer right away. Later that night, she sat on the edge of the couch and asked if I hated her. I said, "Not anymore, but I don't trust you yet." She said, "That's fair." She meant it. The next morning, I got an alert. A post from my mom. A blurry photo of her standing next to an old pickup truck in a dealership lot. Caption, "New beginnings." A family friend commented, "What happened to the Lexus?" My mom replied, "Ask Grace." So I did. I left a comment right underneath it. Sold it. Paid off the loan. Used the rest for my kids. I didn't get a reply, but she read it. I know she did. The Lexus sold fast. Low miles, clean title, solid interest. A man from 2 towns over paid in full and drove it off with a grin like he'd won something. I watched from my window, not smiling, not sad, just still. I used part of the money to finish off the loan. The rest went into savings, the kids' college fund, and a little side envelope I labeled, "Whatever comes next." My sister was still on the couch. She got a part-time job working at a baby store. Minimum wage, folding onesies, stocking pacifiers, sweeping aisles. It wasn't glamorous, but she was never late. Not once. She stopped complaining. We didn't talk about the past. She didn't bring up her ex, or the baby's father. I didn't ask. We made it through meals and errands and quiet evenings with kids' shows playing too loud. For the first time in years, our silence wasn't cruel. It was mutual. Then my parents started showing up in places they knew I might be. At the kids' soccer field, at the same grocery store, never said anything. Just made sure I saw them, and then the messages started again. Not to me, to the kids. Birthday cards started arriving again, with gift cards inside. A doll for my daughter, a science kit for my son, signed, "Love Grandma and Grandpa." No return address, no note to me. My son asked if we could visit them. I said, "We'll see." Then came the worst one. A letter, typed, from my mom. Said she was sorry for how things turned out. Not for what they did, not for lying, just for the outcome. And then came the kicker. They wanted to meet. Said they wanted to clear the air, start over, and that they missed their family. My sister read it. She handed it back and said, "They think I'm your ticket." I nodded. But I'm not going backward. So I wrote one final letter. I didn't curse. I didn't accuse. I said this: "I'm glad you love your version of family. I'm building mine, but it won't include people who only see my children as footnotes. You can explain that however you want. I'm not going to explain myself anymore." And then I blocked them. Phone, email, social media, everything. That night, my daughter climbed into my lap and said, "Grandma forgot about us, didn't she?" I said, "No, she just didn't know how to treat you right." She nodded like she understood more than she should have. We never saw the pickup truck. My mom stopped posting pictures. My dad apparently told people I ruined their life. But something changed, because people stopped believing them. Relatives started reaching out quietly, saying they were sorry, that they didn't know everything, that they should have asked. I didn't want their sympathy. I just wanted peace, and that's exactly what I kept. No more doorbells, no more begging, No more performances. Just me, my kids, my sister, and a different kind of family. One that isn't built on shame, but one we built ourselves. It's been 2 weeks since I cut them off for good. I really thought that would be the end of it. I imagined peace, some quiet evenings, a routine, nothing dramatic. But then, last Wednesday, I got a knock on the door around 9 p.m. It wasn't my parents. It was the wife of the man who bought the Lexus. She looked confused, said she didn't mean to bother me, but wanted to ask some questions. Apparently, a week after he drove it home, he started getting notes on his windshield. At work, at the grocery store, even at his kids' school pickup. Things like, "You don't deserve that car. That's not yours. This was a gift, and you stole it." All unsigned. She asked me if anyone in my life might have a problem with the car being sold. I said, "Yes, but I don't think it'll happen again." She believed me. Then, 2 days ago, my sister got a call from an old friend, someone she hadn't talked to in a year. Apparently, our mom's been telling people she was lured away by me, that she was pregnant with some stranger's baby, and that I was manipulating her for revenge. Classic projection. That would have hurt maybe a month ago, but not now. Because the truth is, my sister's still here, still working, still pregnant, still sleeping on the couch. And this morning she told me she's saving for a twin mattress so she can move into the laundry room and give the kids back their living room. It's small, but it's real. No one's pretending anymore. No one's performing. I don't know if my parents will ever stop spinning their version. I don't really care. Because the people who matter, they see it now. A few of them even apologized genuinely, quietly, like they finally realized how long this had been building. I don't know what's next. Maybe they'll try something else. Maybe they'll just disappear from our lives completely. But for now, the air feels cleaner. My kids are laughing more. My sister's trying. And I'm not wasting energy hoping for people to love us the way we deserve. So, thank you to everyone who reached out, everyone who followed this story, messaged support, or just read in silence. Thank you. I don't know if there will be any more updates, but if there are, I'll share them. Until then, we're okay. We really are.